Good evening. It is now 7:35. I'll call this January 25th, 2016 meeting of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Snellville to order. First, we'll have the invocation. We want to welcome Westminster Presbyterian's Interim Minister, Allison Per Lee, to come up and give us their invocation. Welcome to Snellville.
Let us pray. God of all creation, thank you for your many and abundant blessings. We are grateful for life itself, for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings, for daily provisions, and for family and friends. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities within this community. We thank you for the community of Snellville and all who serve it, for those who teach and those who protect, for those who clean and those who repair, for those who work in parks and those who work on roads, for those who plan and for those who make plans happen, for those who heal and those who counsel, for those who govern and those who elect, for all who live into the best example of what it means to be a citizen, we give you humble thanks. For the freedom to live and move and have our being, we give you grateful thanks. Most importantly, we thank you for loving us from your boundless and grace-filled nature. You have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, and you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice, O God. Therefore, I pray for Mayor Witz, for the various levels of council members, and for all gathered tonight. I ask that you would graciously grant our officials wisdom, creativity, compassion, and even humor to govern Snellville amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people by listening with diligence and openness, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness in gratitude for the freedom they have, confidence in what is good and fitting, revealed by an open heart and mind, the ability to work together in harmony, even when there is honest disagreement, and personal peace in their own lives that will give them joy in their tasks as they serve the community of Snellville. As this meeting begins this evening, please give each official an assurance of what would please you, O God, and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our city of Snellville. And we pray all of this in the name of Jesus, our Savior. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor. And now we'll have Boy Scout Louis Gann come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Louis, thank you for coming.
Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, we'll have the approval of the minutes. You have all seen and received a copy of the minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes of the January 11th, 2016 meeting.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6-0. There's no opposition. The motion carries. We have no invited guests this evening, so we'll now go to our committee and department reports. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it says none here. There is one. I apologize. There is a ceremonial matter. Sorry, Marcy. I turn the. I turn the floor over to Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
All right. Well, it's my distinct honor and privilege to read this proclamation from the city of Snellville for you, Linda. Whereas Linda Nixon was hired as a police officer on January 7th, 1996, and has faithfully served the city of Snellville, earning assignment to the Detective Division, and whereas Detective Linda Nixon has been an exemplary employee for the City of Snellville Police Department, dedicatedly and professionally serving the city and the department for 20 years, and whereas Linda Nixon diligently worked to keep the spirit of the National Night Out alive within our community by leading and being an integral part of the Snellville Public Safety Night, bringing the community together in partnership with our department, providing education, information, and interaction with our employees, and organizing demonstrations of our public safety resources and equipment. And whereas Linda Nixon handles over 400 walk-in calls for service a year, interacting with victims and citizens, allowing patrol officers to remain on the streets, and whereas Linda Nixon has been recognized in letters of commendation and thanks for her caring, empathy, and response to the citizen needs. Therefore, I, Tom Witz, the mayor of the city of Snellville, do hereby join with our city council, all employees, and the citizens of Snellville, who she has faithfully served, to express our appreciation and gratitude by presenting Officer Linda Nixon with her badge in this shadow box as a reminder of service rendered by her into the city of Snellville for the past 20 years. Furthermore, I, Tom Witz, mayor of the city of Snellville, Georgia, where everybody is proud to be somebody, proclaim today, Monday, January the 25th, 2016, as Linda Nixon Day, in honor of her tenure and service, and offer her our very best wishes for success, happiness, prosperity, and good health in her future endeavors. Proclaim this 25th day of January 2006. Steen.
I apologize, Linda. It really did say none here, and I went over it. My apologies. Now we will go to our committee department reports, and Ms. Marcy Ferris.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The Board of Appeals went on holiday December and January. We're going back to work in February.
Thank you for that.
Well, let's double their pay.
Next, we'll hear about Parks and Rec from Brittany Marmol. Brittany?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So we just have a few things from our Parks and Rec Board. At our last meeting, we approved the installation for a Pate Lake marker. All the costs and supplies, the materials and labor will be handled by the Pate family, and the materials that will be used are going to be similar to the granite markers that are already around the park. The marker will read Pate Lake, built 1950 by Mr. and Miss Elmer A. Pate, and this should be erected sometime in the spring of this year. We also had Mary Jane Gresham as our Senior Volunteer of the Year, and we rewarded that to her earlier this year. And we also discussed new tennis rental rates and rules. And we received the general updates on the leads and the tournaments and the events going around by Lisa and what to expect for the next coming months. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, February 2nd in the Betty McMichael room at the park office. That's it.
Yeah, do you have any definition on the new rates and rules? Anything you can explain, or is that still under discussion?
Any other questions?
You are excused.
Thank you.
Okay, next.
I hope it's me.
It's not, but go ahead. No.
Good evening. First off, from the Arts Commission, we have the Labyrinth dedication this Saturday at 1 p.m. Even though it won't be painted yet, Judy Level, who has really headed up that whole program for us, she said that she would act out walking the lines, even though they're not there. So we'll all know how to do it in the future. We have our regular Arts Commission meeting next week, a week from tonight, 6:30 in the conference room. We will have new art in the community room with the reception on Sunday, February 7th, and that is going to be artwork from a lot of school children. A lot of the local schools will have their artwork up in there. We're also planning a fashion show on Saturday, March 12th at Summit Chase, which should be an interesting event for everybody involved, which I think is going to be several of the city council people. And finally, we're planning a talent show in April with the idea that the finalists will then perform sometime during Snellville days. And that's pretty much what we've got planned. Any questions?
Any questions from Commissioner?
Say that again. Are you going to be in the fashion show? I hope not, but if Brittany says I have to be there, I will be there.
Thank you very much, and thank you for everything. Oh, I'm sorry.
Could I ask a question? Kurt, could you talk a little bit about the mural over at New London Plaza? Is it finished? What's the time frame for that?
The mural has been a very frustrating experience for me personally, because I'm not an artist. It's supposed to be done last summer. The person who kind of took it over didn't finish it. It's supposed to be done by Election Day, and it didn't get finished. So when we get good weather in this, next 2 months, it will be done. It's really close. I think there are 3 more panels left to do, but it will be done as soon as weather permits now. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next, Executive Director of STAT, Kelly McAloon.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is quite exciting for me to be up here tonight because this is actually my first appearance since we have our new mayor and council, so very excited for the new United Council in Snellville. Exciting time for Snellville as a whole. Our stat board met last Saturday for an all-day planning retreat. We're very excited about the upcoming 2016 event season. We had several speakers. We appreciate Mayor Witt's coming out, talking about the city overview and the DDA. We appreciate Kirk Bice from the Arts Commission. Councilman Emanuel joined us, and he shared about the URA. And it was just great to hear from the different groups because it kind of keeps us all in line what each other is doing for the year and how we can work together. We also invited Mr. Evans, who is the audio, video, technology, and film instructor at South Gwinnett High School, and Ms. Range, who is the marketing director and DECA co-advisor. We're very excited about the partnerships that we will be formed with the students, that we can help them with some of their problem-based learning, and they'll be able to help us in return with some of our social media and other things that we want to take charge of this year. So we're excited to have the students on board, and the school is looking forward to partnering with us as well. Our 2016 ornament will showcase the Snellville Police Department canines this year. So it'll be very exciting to have the 3 canine dogs on the ornament, and then we'll probably have either the badge or something from the police department on the other side just saying, Merry Christmas 2016. Couple dates we want everybody to think about and save the date for May and June. I know it's kind of several months away, but never too late to put it on your calendar. Our first event will be May 21st on the town green, and it'll be our new town green, so we're very excited about that. We're also going to partner with the city and have the dedication to the new town green prior to the start of the beach blast, and we'll have a concert that evening. May 28th, this is not a stat event, but it is the second annual memorial celebration. I'll be helping with that event. And I'm also going to be working on a project that I need to complete for my travel marketing professional certification. And this is going to be a banner program that I have spoke to the Veterans Memorial Committee about, that put banners of different veterans maybe up on the poles, but that's something that we'll talk about when we get all the details down, the promotional materials. We'll share that with everybody. But I think Mayor Witz from his hometown showed us banners, and it was very nice. I think it'll add to the memorial. It'll be something on the banners. I know Councilman Howard's been talking about, getting some things up on those poles, some banners. So hopefully that'll be great for the month of May prior to that celebration. And of course, June 4th, the farmers market will open the season through September from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The first Spirit magazine will be published and in homes by April 23rd, and I'm excited to share that we are increasing our circulation to 21,000. We'll have 18,645 magazines being direct mailed into homes and businesses in Snellville, touching in Lawrenceville, Loganville, and Grayson. If you're interested in advertising, you can contact myself at info@snellvilletourism.com. If you'd like to be a member of our organization, please join us the first Tuesday of each month here at City Hall in the community room. Our meetings start at noon. Our first business after hours event will be held on February 11th at Summit Chase Country Club from 5:30 to 8 p.m. It's an awesome event. We share that event with Greater Eastside Chamber of Commerce and the Heart of Gwinnett, and I'll tell you, I think it's one of the biggest networking events in Gwinnett County, so please join us there. And I think that's about wraps it up for STAT, unless you all have any questions.
Any questions for Director Macklin? Anyone? No? Thank you very much. I will tell you that I enjoyed my day Saturday. It was nice to see there, just sit there and listen to all the discussion and to see how all the stuff y'all do and how well you work together to get it done. I was delighted to be there, and thank you for all you do for the city.
Thank you. We were excited. We started an hour and a half late, but we finished on time, so that was a really good thing. Thank you.
That ends our committee reports. We now go into our public hearing.
Before we proceed, I'd like to
You would?
I would like Mr. Howard to stop talking.
Good luck with that.
I'd like to amend the agenda to add discussion and consideration of Resolution 2016-1, which is a resolution to provide for a study regarding the changes necessary to the municipal code of Snellville and the zoning ordinances of the city of Snellville related to the sale of consumer fireworks in the city of Snellville. And I'd like Assistant District Attorney, City Attorney Chuck Ross to please give us the full
Well,
details.
let's amend the agenda first.
Okay.
And then when we get down
Yeah,
to that
that's fine.
unit, we'll bring Chuck
Okay, so
forward. How's that?
motion to amend the agenda for this resolution.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? There's a motion to amend the agenda in a second. Any discussion on the motion? I call the question. All those in favor of amending the agenda for item D, what are we going to call it? We're going to call it the,
Amending the study for the,
moratorium on
Moratorium.
fireworks, okay.
On the
Moratorium
fireworks.
for, signify by raising your right hand. That's 6-0, no opposition, the motion carries. Okay, we have no public hearing this evening. We also do not have a consent agenda. We have no old business, we move right to new business. We like to get things done, we don't like to carry them over, we just keep going right through it. Always new business. Okay, consideration and action on approval of the 2016 Snellville Tourism and Trade stat contract, budget, and calendar of events. Mr. Sanders.
Mayor and Council, for the excellent work that STAT does in serving as our destination marketing organization, they are basically our marketing and tourism arm. We have an annual contract that we ask that you approve. In this year, it includes the basic requirements of the cooperation level, cooperation in finances. Ms. McAloon has submitted a balanced budget of $295,356. We provide an estimated amount of $125,000 through our hotel motel tax for that. That's in the contract where they receive 100% of our room tax received. It's also in the contract that they will submit an event schedule, of which Ms. McAloon just went over. This year there are 12 major event dates, plus the farmers market, plus a lot of the extra events like the business after hours. And it is a contract which I'm pleased to present and recommend approval of. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think, Mr. City Attorney, you may have had one or two small changes there, and I would recommend approval with those changes.
Very good. I'm going to ask the public, is there anyone that has any comments on this particular item? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
motion to approve the 2016 stat contract and agreement.
There's a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second by Ms. Bender. Any discussion of members of council? Seeing none, I call the question. All those in favor of approval and consideration and action on the approval of the 2016 Snellville Tourism and Trade stat contract budget and calendar events, please signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 with no opposition. The motion carries. Next, consideration and action on approval of surplus of old city equipment and vehicles. Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Thank you, Mayor.
I almost said a manual. I'm sorry.
There's a joke there. I'd like to make a motion that we approve for supply and to surplus and sale of old city equipment and city vehicles listed within the list that was comprised by our city clerk, that we move forward with that and get it listed for the most part on eBay, I'm guessing. Right, Melissa? Is that where we publish most of that information? So that we move forward with that and go ahead and move that on down the line.
Okay. Any public discussion? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. You made the measure. I'm sorry. Second?
Second.
Discussion. I have one question. I noticed on here a lot of computers, and I know that last year the Snellville Leadership Group was trying to obtain computers for the senior center. Are any of these computers anything that can be used over there? Not, and we know not. I tried. Okay. All right. No further discussion. I call the question. Sure.
Just so that everybody's clear, we've got several departments represented in this list. We have our police department that includes, as the mayor mentioned, a certain number of laptops. We have some other miscellaneous office equipment, printers, and so on and so forth. We have approximately 6 vehicles from the police department that are old retired police cars and 1 Gulfstream trailer that we have acquired. So Parks and Rec, same thing. We have from the administration of here in City Hall, computers and so on and so forth. Public Works, we've got a dump truck on the agenda and some of the old like tire changing equipment and things such as that. So it's actually a very good spring cleaning list that we can generate and put some of this stuff, number one, out of our service, and then gain some receipt for it at all. So that's what this is all about.
Call the question. All those in favor of approval of the surplus of old city equipment and vehicles to be sold, please indicate by raising your right hand. 6 in favor, no opposition. The motion carries. Next, consideration and action on approval of contract for Briscoe Park pool renovations.
I make a motion to approve of contract of Briscoe Park pool renovations.
We have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Bender. Roger, can you explain just a little bit more, or have perhaps Lisa?
Lisa knows more of the specifics, so basically the pool needs to be renovated, certain amenities with it and that go along with it, but she knows the details on the contract itself, on the pricing and what specifics or specifications are going to be going into it. So I would, I guess, direct the specific questions to Lisa, if any of y'all have any during discussion time.
Yeah, I'd like to have a little bit more. The bids are really ranging from 47.4 to 149, and just like more detail on what's going to be done.
Sorry, let me pull it out. It covers a wide variety of items, all the way from the tiling around to the actual surfacing to the lane lines. Our current ladders that come out of the water to get you out are actually external. We spend a lot of money every year redoing treads. It's just the chlorine just deteriorates them. So they will be doing in-pool or in-surface ladders with this. We will also be changing out the sand within the filter system, which I know you guys haven't been down there, but those filters are probably about 10 feet long and hold tons of sand, and they haven't been switched out, so that'll get switched out. So it's a wide variety of items that are going to be covered within this. The 2 of the bids were pretty close, and then the other one was much more expensive. I don't know if because that was just a construction company, but they do a lot of pools, so I don't know if that's why it was such a wide variance. I'm not sure why that one was so high, but it does cover quite a bit of things. It's not just replastering. There's a lot of items within that.
And I assume we're going with the low bidder?
Yes, and it is the current company that we've dealt with before, so we've seen their products. So
Any other questions? Then
I'd like to amend it if there's no more discussion. Is there any more discussion or no? No, okay. So I want to amend the motion to set the contract amount to $47,400.
and to positively pools.
Yes, that's the lower bid or the lower number.
Okay. Do we have a second to the amendment?
Second.
Any conversation about that? All those in favor of amending the original motion signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. Are we okay with that? Did we do that properly? Good. Now we're voting on the main motion. Okay, now we're going to re-vote on the main motion to award the contract for $47,400 to Positively Pools. Okay? Okay, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Again, 6-0. No opposition, the motion carries. Okay, that goes on to item D. Resolution to provide for a study regarding the changes necessary for the principal code of Snellville and the zoning ordinances of Snellville related to the sale of consumer fireworks in the city of Snellville. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the resolution 2016-1 as read.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Before I call for discussion, let me explain what we're doing here. Last year, when the legislature passed the law for firearms or fireworks being sold in the city, they really didn't give the cities much leverage or much jurisdiction in the process. And now the legislature, after a year and many, many, many complaints, are re-looking at that law so they can give the cities more authority on regulating the fireworks. All we're doing is, we don't want to do anything that a month from now could be changed by the legislature, so we're just putting a moratorium on accepting any applications for permanent fireworks stores until the legislature clears it up, so we have a clear understanding of exactly what the state controls and what the municipalities control. Okay? Okay, and we haven't published it, so I'm going to ask Chuck with Tony's office to go ahead and read that so it's read into the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Here, this reads, whereas House Bill 110 was passed on May 5th, 2015, amending the official code of Georgia relating to the sale and regulation of consumer fireworks, and whereas House Bill 110 further provides for municipal corporations to provide for permits or licenses regarding the sale or use of consumer fireworks, and whereas House Bill 110 also mandates certain guidelines regarding a municipal corporation's issuance of said permits or licenses regarding the sale or use of consumer fireworks, and whereas the Municipal Code of Snellville and zoning ordinances of the City of Snellville have not been updated to address the changes in the law, and whereas the mayor and council believe it is in the best interest of the citizens of Snellville to study the changes needed to be made to the Municipal Code of Snellville and zoning ordinances of the City of Snellville so as to follow the regulations provided for by House Bill 110. Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the City of Snellville that the City of Snellville Planning and Zoning Department will conduct a study to investigate the necessary changes to the Municipal Code of Snellville and zoning ordinances of the City of Snellville so as to follow the regulations provided for by House Bill 110. During the study period, the Department of Planning and Zoning is hereby directed not to issue any permits or accept any applications involving the sale or distribution of consumer fireworks in the City of Snellville. Said study shall begin at 12 o'clock a.m. on January the 26th of 2016 and conclude 90 days later at 12 o'clock a.m. on April 25th, 2016.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor.
Any questions from council? If none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6-0 opposed. The motion carries. That ends our public hearing and business. Now we go to council reports. We will start with Councilman Marmol.
First, I want to thank everybody that took part in the MLK celebration, and I especially want to thank the mayor for starting the talks with the various factions and uniting them. I believe the MLK celebration in general represents progress and unity in the city, and I think it's a great way to start the events for the 2016 cycle. Thanks.
Councilman Linsky.
When we look back at January 18th, 2016, I think we're going to really see this as a major turning point in the city. Mayor Witz, if you could understand even a glimpse of what I witnessed in the classroom, Students, our young people are so engaged in this community and so willing to come out and work with this city. We simply have to ask. And that was really the key. The adult volunteers were amazed at the level of student participation. South Gwinnett High School Band of Stars, the marching band, led the way. Our junior ROTC corps was just absolutely amazing in the representation of the school community as well as the larger Snellville community. Our Beta Club students showed up on a Sunday at 4 p.m. on one of their days off, and some of those same students showed up on their other day off. This was not a 3-day weekend for so many students, and that is exactly what Dr. King intended. This is a day on, and it was just an amazing moment in terms of my personal worlds. My South Gwinnett community, where I spend so much of my time, and my city. I saw my boss, my mayor, serving and joining in fellowship, getting really emotional about this because it was just a miracle, was truly what we experienced in the city right before our eyes. And I think the greatest moment was probably experiencing my principal, my other boss, serving the community. A truly amazing moment. If you don't believe in Snellville, you need to get on board.
Thank you very much for those kind words. Councilman Bender? Councilman Emmanuel?
I don't know whether to make this short or long. Do you have a video tonight?
We'll see.
I have a couple things, not to overdo the comments about the Martin Luther King Day celebration. I want to commend and thank Mayor Witz for taking the celebration and elevating it to an unprecedented level. Martin Luther King was not only a civil rights activist, he was a visionary, he was a pastor, and he was a humanitarian. And I think this year's celebration recognized all of those aspects of his personality and all of the contributions he made to this country through his activism in areas besides civil rights. Sometimes that gets overlooked, and one of his most famous quotes has to do with a question where he asked, what are we doing to serve others? And I think we saw a lot of that being done through the Martin Luther King Day celebration, and also through one of my other favorite points I like to talk about, that's Give Hunger the Boot. And as you know, we were involved in a Snellville Grayson Challenge to see which city can raise the most donations for the Southeast Gwinnett Co-op to help others. So that effort is a direct answer to that question. And we've had an outpouring of activity from the city, citywide. And the Beta Club over at South Gwinnett was very active, raised a lot of donations that I had to load in a truck, and I have a sore back to testify to that, but they just did incredible work, as did a number of other schools. So I think we have a very, very engaged population, aside from United Snellville, and I think it's just a shadow of things to come. I think we have a lot of great things coming on, and this was just kind of emblematic of what can be done and what should be done. One other point I want to bring up excuse me, is that we have a lot of outstanding departments in the city that help the city run smoothly. One of those is Public Works, and Gay Johnson does a fantastic job as Director of Public Works, and she's now a radio personality. And she was on internet radio last night, and if you have the opportunity, I'd invite you to go and listen to it. You can find the link on Facebook. Just a lot of good information about what Public Works does for the city, and you're always invited to take a tour of the recycling facility and have any questions answered that have to do with street paving, stormwater, recycling, and trash. And again, I just want to thank Gay for the outstanding job she does.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Thank you, Mayor. How y'all doing? Oh, come on, really? All right, good. Good. First of all, I kind of got chastised for something I didn't do 2 weeks ago. Shop local. We can just get that out of the way. We have to talk about that. We got a lot of big, exciting things going on. Of course, the new Best Buy is fixing to open, and the promenade there, and they're moving along what looks like breakneck speed to get that thing up and running. This past week, I had the opportunity to do something for the second year, is be a judge at the South Gwinnett High School for their FBLA competition, the Future Business Leaders of America. Kathy Emanuel, I think, joined me over there. There was a handful of us there. And, you know, to see, as Councilwoman Linsky mentioned, our students and our young adults, it's wonderful to see. They take that FBLA challenge very seriously. And we've got some of our students in this region that will actually go to the state finals, which will be held here in Atlanta this year. So I was very honored to be able to be a part of that whole competition again, because, you know, there's just so much good that just doesn't get talked about. And Christy's right. I mean, there's so much there. So to be able to witness that and be a part of it and see that is just, it just makes me feel really good. Our city has the opportunity to do so many things. And I was sitting up here and I wrote down something, and I'm gonna just read what I wrote. Our limits are only set by the will for us to be limitless. And I thought about that a minute. There are no limits for what we can achieve as a city. None whatsoever. And that means all of us. That means us sitting up here. That means y'all sitting out there. And those that don't sit in here or come to the events or do things. The opportunities that we can see and actually make happen through community events such as the Unity event with MLK Day. Touch somebody on the shoulder, invite them out, bring them in your car. But I have never been so excited about what this city's going to look like 2 years from now, 4 years from now, and further. I can't begin to tell you how excited that I feel about that and what holds in store for our city for the future. So many of us have said it. Let's seize the opportunity, because the opportunity is before us in a way that's never, I don't know that we'll ever get that shot again. So let's do it.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Howard. That concludes the council reports. Now for the mayor's report. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Martin Luther King Day. It was a wonderful event. I've got good news for you, Christy. I'm not your boss. Aren't you glad? I'm just one member of a team, or maybe closer to that. One member of a team up here that loves the city and works every day to make it a better city. And all of you out there, and a lot of you out there were at MLK Day. It's because you people do come out, do care that we care. And I can't say any more than what Mayor Pro Tem Howard just said. We have a brilliant future. It's up to us, but it's up to all of us. And you certainly are. I'm preaching to the choir. The people that are in here are the people that do it day in and day out. I would ask that you grab a neighbor and bring them in, because the United Snellville is not just an idea anymore. It's very much a reality. And so thanks everyone for Martin Luther King. The other thing, I've got to repeat something that I said at Kelly's group on Saturday. A couple weeks ago, I was interviewed for the Our Town magazine. And I was sitting in the mayor's office here, and Carol Townsend, who was writing the article, asked me, she said, well, Tom, you know, what's the biggest thing you think the thing you're most proud of in the city? And of course, it was very easy to point out the window and say, the Veterans Memorial. You can touch that, you can feel it, and I am very, very proud of it. You all know that. But that night, I was thinking, I went, you know what? Yeah, I'm really proud of the memorial. Well, that's not the proudest thing, I think. When I look back over the first 5 or 6 years, the thing I'm proudest of is something that I didn't do alone, but I did with Tony Powell and with Barbara Bender, because we're the only three of all of us that were up here at the time, is when we chartered our Snellville Tourism and Trade Association, and including with that, our farmers market. Those two things have changed our city more than any other thing that I think we have done in the 6 years before 2016. So I want to thank, again, many of the same people I'm looking at who volunteer for both of those organizations, that for all you've done and for the real change you've made to Snellville. You made the change much more than anybody up here did by your volunteering and your love of the city. And thank you all very much. That's it for me. Now it's public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to make a comment? Please come forward, state your name and your address, and tell us what's on your mind.
Alice Snipes, 2615 Shaven Circle. I'd like for the mayor and council to consider a saggy pants ordinance.
A saggy pants
A
ordinance?
saggy pants ordinance.
Take notes on this there, Mr. Sanders. I don't want you to miss a word of this.
I don't know how the schools stand on this. I know they have dress code requirements for girls. They have to have shoulder straps a certain width. No sleeveless skirts and shorts have to be a certain length. But do we have anything for the boys? And I know you're not supposed to talk.
No, that's okay, please.
that okay?
Please, please.
Yes, Gwinnett County Public Schools does have a dress code policy in place, and it is enforced at the local level, and it is certainly a concern and a constant battle. I agree.
Well, even if you have a dress code in school, when they walk out, they're dropping their pants. And it's ridiculous. Well, I mean, literally.
I don't know if I would have worded it quite that way.
Well, if it's below their butt. Literally. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you. The city manager will be looking into that ordinance in the morning. Anyone else? I see no one else. Thank you all for coming. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Everson, please. Good evening, sir. Welcome back to Snellville.
Melvin Everson, 17251 in Creek Circle in Snellville. Apologize for being late, just coming in from the Capitol. I just want to say, no complaints or anything, I am so proud of you guys. I was at the MLK event. Give Hunger the Boot. FBLA judging contest. Snellville, as you said, Mayor Pro Tem Bobby Howard, has so much good. Councilman Marmol was there judging. It's awesome. It's a good feel. It's a good feel. I see the diversity coming together and people working on one accord to make Snellville a great place for everyone. I'm just moved beyond tears. I'm so proud. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Melvin. It means a lot coming from you. Should be discussed in a closed session of the meeting and ask council to advise the city with respect to closing the meeting, to authorize negotiations of purchase, dispose of, or lease property, authorize the ordering of an appraisal related to an acquisition or disposal of real estate, enter into a contract to purchase, dispose of, or lease property subject to approval in a subsequent public vote, or enter into an option to purchase, dispose of, or lease real estate subject to approval in subsequent public vote, which is excluded from the Open Meetings Act pursuant to Section 50-14-3, parentheses B, parentheses 1, parentheses C. Upon a motion by Councilmember
Emmanuel.
and seconded by Councilmember Bender, the meeting was closed with the following council members and mayors present and voting. Mayor Witz, yes. Barbara Bender. Yes. David Emmanuel. Yes. Bobby Howard. Yes. Christy Linsky. Yes. Roger Marmol. Yes. We will now be going back into chambers. We do not expect any action to come from this executive session. Thank you all.
And it should be short.
Yes, it will be short.